supersonic style!
As a kid, I was always into game genres such as platforming, adventure, and a little bit of everything else. But as of late, I've noticed that I've never actually beaten an RPG game before. I played a couple of Pokemon games growing up, but that's pretty much it. Never have I gave an RPG game a proper playthrough. So for the last couple of years, I made it my goal to passing as many RPG games as seem interesting enough to spend some time on. And when I say some time, I actually mean a lot of time, like 20 to 50 hours a lot, possibly even more. That's a lot of time to put into one game if you ask me, but nothing compared what I put into New Leaf. Keep in mind that the RPG genre is all new territory to me, so don't expect much out of this video. Also, this list will order the games by oldest to most recent instead of the least favorited to most favorited. That being said, let's continue on with the video. So for starters, let's bring out the first RPG game that I ever beaten, Bravely Default. According to this diary, I mean this personal journal of mine, yeah, let's call it that. Anyways, I beat this game on May 23rd, 2014 at exactly 4:48 p.m. It took me 20 hours to beat the main story and another good 50 hours to 100% it, making it a total of almost 70 hours to complete the entire game on hard. Holy god of gamers all around, that is a lot of hours to put into one amazingly long, good of a story RPG game! Whew! And I must say that I'm very impressed. I'm not sure why, but something about the story just rubbed me in a good way. In so many ways. Well, besides chapter 5 through 8. I'm not gonna spoil anything besides the fact that it's and the orchestra for this game is just amazing. Every single time I hear the main menu theme, chills are sent to the back of my spine. Here, have a quick listen at it. Beautiful, isn't it? Just simply beautiful. One last thing before we move on. This game fixes a lot of the issues that most JRPG games have. So if you're trying to get into the RPG genre like how I was, then I highly recommend picking this game up. It's a very good game for newcomers and veterans of this genre. Moving on. Well, I can guarantee that 84% of you are probably screaming weeaboo at me, 10% are probably clicking away, 5% are really confused about this game, and that 1% of you are screaming in joy that their favorite game is in this list. Where do I even begin to explain with this game? Well, for starters, this game is actually some sort of sequel to an anime called Sakura Wars, which I do plan on watching soon by the way, and that this game is okay. Just okay. I really didn't know anything about the game when I was purchasing it, besides the fact that it was another RPG game, a tactical RPG at that, which I'll explain more in a bit. First, let me explain the gameplay of this game. One of course being the tactical mecha fighting mode, while the other being the, how do I put this? Basically a dating sim type of mode. Now, I know it may sound weird at first, but it makes sense. Sort of. Yeah, not really. So the main objective in this mode is basically interacting with the female protagonist and making them fall in love with you. Or at least getting close to you. Essentially, this is the only way to quote unquote level up. The interacting isn't really that bad, it's just it feels very weird. Especially when you have a family member near hearing distance.
Oh, you're such a cutie! Look, he's blushing!
If you're fine with some dating sim elements sprinkled around the game, then try out the game. If not, then just skip it. Like how I said before, it's an okay game, and it's actually quite easy to beat, so yeah, moving on.
なんだかチョコボ臭いな。Let's do this! 本気で行くぜ!
This game is shit, you should never get it, and just stick to Pokemon. Moving on. Okay, to be fair, I've never gave this game a proper playthrough. And I do must admit that the only enjoyment I got out of this game from my Twitter session was collecting these fossil things and trying to crack it open, like some sort of paleontologist. But that's about it. Everything else was pretty much vague, besides the fact that I was bored out of my mind. But regardless, this is an RPG game, and one of the 10 only RPG games that I've actually played. Who knows, maybe I'll give this game another chance. Anyways, that's enough ranting, moving on.
なんだかチョコボ臭いな。
Now, before you bash at me for putting in a game that is actually directly based from an anime TV series, let me just repeat myself. This is one of the 10 RPG games that I've actually played, so it still counts to be in the list. Plus, it's not that bad of a game. Sure, you need to have some sort of knowledge of the TV series to enjoy the game to the fullest, and yeah, it's not the greatest Naruto game to be playing, but it's still something to keep you busy for a while. So the backstory how I got the game is pretty simple. One of my guild friends wanted to throw his old Naruto manga collection along with this game. He of course decided to give me everything since he knew that I used to enjoy watching Naruto as a kid. Soon after I received the game, I started playing it. 10 hours later, I beat the game, and that's about it. Nothing special, pretty short and simple, just like any other Naruto game. Moving on.
なんだかチョコボ臭いな。I'm really feeling it.
When Shulk was announced to be part of the Smash roster, I was actually trying to figure out who exactly he was. And like most people, I didn't know what game he was from. So after I got a copy of Smash 4 from a Nintendo 3DS, I became very curious to know his backstory. So I went out to buy his game. Now, before I begin to explain more about his game, let me just say that I had this game for more over a year and still have not completed the main story. I'm pretty sure I beat most of it. I've actually already put 17 hours into this game, but I digress. The reason being is that I got stuck in one specific part of the game to the point where I stopped playing for a while that I actually forgot most of the stories and characters. But I promise that I'll beat it sometime in the future. It's been behind my mind calling for me to replay it for some time now. Anyways, back to the main point. What I've played of this game so far was amazing. The setting of the story was on point, the characters are quite rememberable, the environment is pretty to look at, even if the graphics are kinda lacking. And the music, my god, the music is just amazing. Perfect, all around, beautiful. You can complain with the game mechanics, the graphics, and even the story, but there is no way in God that you can complain about the soundtrack. There's just no way. There's just no way. Now, I could sit here and talk about how amazing the game is for hours to come, but look at the time. Doesn't seem like we have much now, do we? Come on to the next game. You probably already heard how epic this game is from hundreds and hundreds of other YouTubers. Moving on.
なんだかチョコボ臭いな。
Here's something more in the casual side of RPG. The story is nothing mind-breaking, the game is not too easy, not too hard, just the right amount of difficulty, and the music is nothing special. The game is like a hybrid of Animal Crossing and Bravely Default. There's a good amount of things to do even after you beat the main story. and it's actually quite fun. I don't want to talk too much of this game at the moment since I'm planning to do a review of this game in the near future anyways, and also might end up doing a let's play with a companion or two. Moving on.
なんだかチョコボ臭いな。
The world ends with you. There's not a single DS game that can match with what this game has to offer. Not only is this probably one of my favorite DS games in the original DS collection, but probably the only DS game that uses the console to its full potential. And above all, it has a very solid soundtrack, a very unique gameplay mechanic, and probably the best life lesson a game has ever given me. This game is a must-have for any DS owner. If you're looking for a challenge, then go for it. If you want to get lost in its story, then go for it. Or even if you just want to enjoy the music, then just go for it. Whatever the reason is, just go for it, like right now, because this game is so good. Whatever that means. Anyways, I don't want to spoil too much of the game, so moving on.
Powers yet unknown.
なんだかチョコボ臭いな。
decided to include him in the list, since it was a pretty high moment.
I've been having these weird thoughts lately. Like, is any of this for real? Or not?
I'm so close. I just need a couple more games, then I can finally say that I played every single Kingdom Hearts games. Now, I know this is kind of cheating, but I'm including the entirety of the Kingdom Hearts series into one. Because let's be real here. Every single Kingdom Hearts game is considered canon. You need to play every single one of them to fully grasp the entirety of the story. So I did myself a favor and bought myself a PS3 to just play the Kingdom Hearts games. And thanks to these two games, I've actually caught up to the series quite fast. As for this recording, I have beaten Kingdom Hearts 1, Region of Memories, 358 per 2 days, Kingdom Hearts 2, and 2 out of 3 stories of Birth by Sleep. As to why I stuck out with the series for so long is, well, it's because I heard that the cast of The World Ends With You make some sort of appearance in the later games of Kingdom Hearts, so I've been pushing through just for that one reason. Yep, that was my goal all along. Nothing else. Well, yeah, sure, that was my first and main objective, but after beating the first Kingdom Hearts games, I started to grow on the characters and their strong friendship for each other. Especially when they introduced Roxas in 358 per 2 days. My god, did I fall in love with this character instantly. There's just something about his backstory that I truly enjoyed. But I digress. I don't want to bore you guys explaining my love for this character, so moving on.
なんだかチョコボ臭いな。
I said, do we have a problem? Huh?
Yeah, I didn't think so. Anyways, back to the point. This game is very charming, it has an okay story, nice environment to explore, and a very catchy tunes that most likely will get stuck in your head for some time. The only complaint I actually have for this game is the method on catching the yokais. It's actually quite tedious and really takes the fun out of the game a lot of the time. But regardless, it still holds up for the hype it gets. If you're on the verge of getting this game or not, then I recommend to at least try the demo and see what it has to offer. It's a hit or miss when it comes to this game. Now, since these are the 10 and only RPG games that I've played thus far, here are a couple of quote-unquote honorable mentions of RPG games that I want to try out soon.
changes.
Now, I know I'll probably sound like a broken record by saying this, but this game is amazing, and that's
In the
the
year
truth.
1945,
I'm not saying that the games listed here weren't amazing, I'm just saying that this game is easily in the top 10 if this list was going by least favorited to most favorited. But regardless, it's not. But it is the most recent RPG game that I played, and probably the most anticipated game that I once played back in 2015. If you played this game before, then chances are you probably already said goodbye to your social life. Because my god, this game takes your hours away and making you feel like minutes. Once you start, there's just no way to go back. So be very cautious when it comes to playing this game. You just might end up losing a friend or two.
because if my time in the army taught me one thing, it's that war never changes.
Well, that's all for today. What other RPG games do you recommend me to play? Who knows, maybe I'll actually do a top 10 RPG games once I play a couple more. Thank you so much for watching, sayonara, peace, and take care. I'll see you guys next time.